Hey there folks, this is Piston by 51mm, and today I figured I'd do a video for people who are kind of newer to rifles and guns. This popped in my head and it's a video I could do. The differences in gas systems, like short stroke gas piston systems, and then you got your direct impingement. I'm going to kind of go over the difference between the two. This is going to be a very basic explanation of the two for people who may be just getting into guns, or they bought a gun and they don't know. And as a refresher to those of us who are more into guns and shoot them a lot more frequently. So anyway, here we go. Hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so there's two types of gas pistons. Now when I say piston, I mean there's a physical piston, like in my M14 here, that goes back and forth when the gun is fired after the bullet has went past this point, and the hot gases that follow the bullet go down into the piston here, or the gas tube, as this is called, the gas tube, and they force this piston to cycle. There are two types of them. There is short stroke and then there is long stroke. What my gun is, the M14, is a short stroke gas piston. What that means is, like say here, this op rod gets smacked by the gas piston. It gets smacked. It takes the bolt, as you can see right here. Takes the bolt. It cycles it back. Now see, if it had a shell in there, like let's go like this. Close it up. Okay, it has a shell in here. The shell's been fired. The bullet goes down the barrel. The gas is behind the bullet. Go through a little hole right here in the gas system. They go down into the gas tube. The gases cause the piston to poke out. Of course, it's recessed right now. I'll have to tilt the gun back up to get it to come back out. But the piston shoots out, hits this op rod. The op rod then takes the bolt from its closed position and pushes it back, which will cause the bolt on the M14 to extract the shell. Okay, so it went back, the shell is extracted. It goes back here to the back of the receiver. The recoil spring and guide rod that it has will flex and bring the bolt back up. It will scoop a new round out of the magazine, chamber it, and be ready to go again. My M1A has a short stroke gas piston. That means that the piston, let me get it to come back out. Come on. There we go. I need to clean him. He ain't been cleaned in a while down in here. But the short stroke gas piston is like what you see right here. The piston itself is not connected to, say, like the op rod, which is an independent part from the gas piston. They are not mated together. They are not one piece. A long stroke gas piston is like a AK-47 or an M1 Garand. The M1 Garand has a long stroke gas piston, meaning the op rod for it goes all the way up into the gas system on it, and it's all one piece instead of two individual pieces. It doesn't have a smaller gas piston that hits the op rod and sends it back. The FNFAL has a short stroke gas piston. The SKS has a short stroke gas piston. You can get AR-15s with short stroke gas pistons, and the SIG 550 series has short stroke gas pistons as well, for those of us who are able to afford those, as they are imported. But that is a short stroke gas piston. It is a small piston that hits the op rod or bolt carrier on an AR-15, on a short stroke gas piston AR-15. It doesn't have the gas key here. It's like a flat surface right there. and the piston itself punches that and causes it to cycle. Alright, so that's short stroke gas pistons. Now we got direct impingement. Direct impingement is different. There is no physical piston in the gas tube like on the M14. I'm using the M14 as an example, like I said, because it's the only short stroke gas operated rifle that I have in my inventory, in my collection. But on a direct impingement rifle such as the AR-15, there is no piston, no moving part up in the gas tube. What happens with the AR-15 is I've got the bolt out here. The bolt closes on the live round, pushes the live round up into the chamber. The firing pin hits the primer. Primer ignites the powder. Powder burns and pushes the bullet out the barrel. Well, similar to on the M14, but a little different, is the gases behind the bullet go up into a little hole in the barrel there in the gas tube. See, there's the venting hole for the gas. And then the gas goes back down a little tube and enters into the bolt here via the gas key up on top. And the gas goes inside the piston, or not the piston, I called it the bolt itself on the AR-15 kind of acts like a piston, but the gas enters into the bolt and it goes rearward, flexes rearward, ejecting the shell from inside the chamber. And as you can see there's brass strikes there on this brass deflector there. It ejects the shell, and then a spring in the buffer tube of the AR-15's lower receiver will push the bolt back forward, strip a new round out of the magazine, and lock up in the chamber, and it's got a new round ready to go when you pull the trigger. I'll flip the receiver upside down so you guys can see the gas tube there. There's the AR-15's gas tube. That is where the gas comes out to cycle the bolt. But there is no moving pistons or no moving parts on the gas tube on a direct impingement rifle. It is just the gas itself from the bullet being fired, from the powder being burned, coming up behind the bullet as it leaves the barrel that cycles the bolt. It's just the gas itself. Whereas on the M14 and other short stroke gas piston rifles, there's a physical piston that punches an op rod or the bolt itself and cycles the action. That's the difference. And of course you got your long stroke gas piston style rifles where the piston is one big old piece all the way through. And those are more common on AK variants and the M1 Garand. I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones out there that have a long stroke gas piston, but they don't come to mind right now. Same as if I'm sure there's other firearms other than the AR that are direct impingement, but these two I believe are the most common short stroke gas piston and direct impingement. And like I said, you can get AR-15s with a short stroke gas piston where it actually has a physical piston up on the top that does the same thing as what the gas piston on the M14 does. So, and instead of a gas key on the bolt, there's like a little metal tab right there, metal plate that gets smacked instead of gas going into the key. So anyway, I figured I'd do this little video to help some newer people out who may watch my channel that aren't very into guns or are getting into them. And as a refresher to those of us who know this stuff, but you know, we need a little refresher every now and then. Or they just may find this video entertaining. And it was just a video that popped in my head as something I could do on the quick end. Just a quick video. So anyway, I hope this was able to help out whoever may needed the help from it. I'll see you guys all in the next video.